Happy Thursday. Welcome to a little Wendy wisdom on your Thursday afternoon. And today we're going to talk about what if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up? Little ironic coming from someone named Wendy because this is sounding so Peter Pan. But what we're going to talk about today is if you're one of those people that really doesn't know what you want next, which I also say is figuring out what your dream job actually is. So, welcome to this week's Wendy Wisdom. It's Thursday afternoon, and today we're going to discuss a tough question. What if you don't know what you want in your next job? Now, you do know that you can't get what you want if you don't know what you want. So, we got to figure that out. Let's get started. Are you applying for jobs, even though reading the job description tells you that you would not be excited or even happy to have that job? Do you find yourself demoralized, depressed? Are you worried you'll never find something that would actually excite you? Do you think that, well, the economy's not doing well, I better just get something? I understand. How much runway do you have before you are out of cash, before you can't pay the mortgage or your rent? If you have a lot of runway, you have time to figure out what you want and time to find it. If you don't, you may need to get a bill-paying job to keep the mortgage paid and the lights on while you figure out and then find it. Now, I want to say something about that. So here's the scoop. There are three kinds of jobs. There are soul-crushing jobs. There are bill-paying jobs. And there are dream and almost dream jobs. And then there are people who really want to be an entrepreneur. And so they got to figure that out and get a bill-paying job while they work on that. I work with a lot of those people. If that's you, we should probably talk. But today we're going to talk about if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, how do you figure out what you want to do? So raise your hand if this is you. You're doing the job search work and you're applying for jobs, but none of the jobs you are applying for excite you. Some of them seem downright dull. You've tried looking for jobs that excite you, but you haven't found any yet. You really do not know what to look for or where to look. Most of the time, when you're in this situation, more of the same isn't going to fix this. Seriously? Seriously. So give me a not inspired. You can do it in the comments. You can do it in the DMs. But let me know if this is you. Because that's how I know that I can help you. The good news is there are jobs out there that would excite you. You don't have to apply to boring jobs forever. Only for long enough to get the bill-paying job if that's what you need right now. And then you can get started searching for the job that will excite you. And I'm even going to tell you what you need to do. How great is that? Sounds pretty good to me. Now, the bad news is searching for your dream job does not mean picking through hundreds of job postings to find some that are a fit for you. You can't find your dream job by applying for jobs because you can't find your dream job if you don't know what your dream job is. Recruiters aren't going to ride in on their white horses and swoop you off your feet and deposit you gently at your dream job. So you end up discouraged and trundle along, never taking the steps to decide what your dream job actually should be or find it. And that takes a toll. Takes a toll on your happiness, your professional fulfillment, your emotional well-being, your health. It also takes a toll on your family and your finances because you are in a job that does not match what you have to offer with something the employer needs or wants and that you thrive in, that you love doing. All because you aren't using the best job search methods. The ones designed based on thousands of hires and 12,000 interviews and thousands of people reporting to the person who created them. So when you don't use those best job search methods to match what you love to do with a company and a job where what you love to do is most of the work most of the time, what if instead of applying to hundreds of jobs that are advertised or posted, you decided what you really care about, what you really want to do every day, and then search for companies and jobs where you would be doing exactly that? What if you had interviews with decision makers at companies with those jobs? Imagine that just for a minute. One of those decision makers will offer you a job. One of them might even have a need that matches what you love to do and then decides to create a job just for you. That has happened for my clients over and over again. It does happen more often than you think. What would landing that kind of job mean for you, your happiness, your professional fulfillment, your emotional well-being, your health, your family, and your bank account? Why your bank account? Because the evidence is in people who are working on things they love are more curious, they're more creative, and people who are more curious and more creative learn things and do things that are a lot more valuable for the company they work for. If you are ready to get on the path to finding and landing that dream job, even if you aren't sure what the dream is yet, give me a dream in the comments or send it to me in the DMs. I have a prize for the person who drops me the most comments. So you might want to be that person. Okay. Let's talk about the steps to get on the path to figuring out what your dream job is and then finding and landing it. So we're going to start with your passions and interests. Yeah, what does that have to do with my career, Wendy? Everything. So your passions and interests are the things that will maximize your curiosity and creativity. If you don't use your passions and interests, you are leaving your dream job and a lot of lifetime earnings on the table. Okay, so step 2, highlight those passions and interests in your LinkedIn profile. Because if people don't know who you are, they can't fall in love with the real you. If you don't highlight your passions and interests in your LinkedIn profile, you miss out on leveraging your passions and interests to get your dream job. And you will probably spend years in jobs that are less fulfilling. Who wants to spend years in jobs that are less fulfilling? You will also add less value to your employer. And that means you will add a lot fewer dollars to your lifetime earnings. That does not make the bank account happy. So now you're going to take that list of your passions and interests. You're going to add it to your spouse's and your kids' passions and interests, because the people you know through your passions and interests and your spouse's kids and passions and interests are the most valuable connectors you know. And they are the people who can open doors to jobs for you. If you don't leverage that passions and interests network, you will not even be aware of a lot of great jobs, and you will be limiting your chances of getting one of them. Now, we've talked a lot about the passions and interests, but there's more to that. So we've got the passions and interests. That could be one of our clues to landing the dream job. Another is getting serious about your talents and skills. And it doesn't really matter what the difference between a talent or skill is, just get clear on what they are. And by the way, I don't just mean talents and skills for which you've been paid. I don't just mean talents and skills you used in all of your jobs since you finished school. I'm talking about all the talents and skills. Things you've done in your family, things you did while in school, things that you've done that are part of creative artistic expression, all sorts of things, all the things. So when you have a list of your passions and interests, when you have a list of your talents and skills, and then you throw in some personality traits or the way your brain functions, then you mix them together and you come up with a few different recipes. And then you taste them. So this is what I do with my clients who don't know what they want to be next, or don't know what they want to be when they grow up, or just don't know what their dream job is. Whatever way you want to put it. Wendy, I don't know. Okay, great. Well, then we need to figure it out. And only then can we build your job search strategy. So what we do is we get really clear on all of our ingredients. So we're standing in the kitchen and we're looking at the refrigerator, we're looking at the freezer, we're looking at the pantry. Sorry, I'm a serious home chef. Got to go with the food analogy. And we look at all the ingredients, all the talents and skills, all the passions and interests, all your values and mission. And then we put it all together and we say, well, if we put these together in this way, we could come up with this job. If we put them together in this way, we could come up with this job. If we put them together this way, we come up with this job. And then you have to taste them. And tasting them means talking to people who are doing the job that you're interested in exploring. And there are right ways and wrong ways to ask them questions, because you're not asking them if this would be a good fit for you. You're asking them things to give you clarity on what it's like to be in that job. And then you are self-evaluating it to say, okay, well, they really love this thing about that job, but that sounds like a nightmare to me. This is not going to be a good fit. So if you need a bill-paying job fast, but you only want to take it knowing that you are committed to figuring out what you really want to do next, we should talk. If you have time to do that job search now for that dream job, that figuring it out now, let's do that now. Don't wait. Do it now. So if you need a cheat sheet for figuring out what you really want in your dream job, you can drop me a dream, not a gene, a dream in the comments or in the DMs, and I will get you the cheat sheet. If you want to know where to find me, right where you are right now. I've got more of this stuff coming every week, and every day there's a post. Now, if you need help making this happen, seriously, as I said, if you need to get that bill-paying job and then really commit so that it doesn't become soul-crushing to, I'm going to find the job I really want, I got you. We need to get on a call. Make it happen now. If you have the bandwidth to just go after that dream job, that's awesome too. Let's start now. And if you know someone who needs this, please share it with them. Okay. We have one day left in the week, and then it's the weekend. Make your Friday fabulous. And this weekend, do something you love with the people you love. See you next week.